Welcome back to another exciting episode of Retrospectives. And today we're going to be continuing on with the Jak and Daxter series, moving on to a game I only picked up once randomly at my brother's to play around with it, Jak II. And from my understanding, this is a fan favorite, so let's hop right into it and see what I think of Jak II. Just a reminder, I will be going through the whole game and talking about it in depth, so this video will contain spoilers. Now, starting off, Jak II takes place right where Jak I leaves off. When collecting all of the Precursor orbs in Jak I, you unlock a secret ending which has all of the main characters open a portal and enter it. Jak II recaps this a bit and shows where this portal leads. Jak and his friends now find themselves in Haven City, and Jak is very quickly taken captive and tortured with Dark Eco, turning him into a monster. A few years and a whole game later, Daxter finally makes his way in and saves Jak from his prison, allowing us to finally make our escape. Once we finally make our way out and meet Core and baby Jak, I guess? Seriously, he looks just like Jak. Whatever. The police come along and we have to protect them, but let's skip that and hop right into the gameplay. And wow, does this game change so much from Jak I. First off, cars, guns, dark gritty atmosphere, killing civilians. What am I playing? Grand Theft Daxter? But, you know, let's not judge it yet. People love this game, so we'll give it a chance. Now, continuing with the story, Jak joins the Resistance to find a way to get revenge on Baron Practice for tormenting him for so many years. After a few missions, we meet Krew, who is basically like a mafia head and the man who gives you gun mods throughout the game. He's also fat and mean, and I always love when Daxter teases him. And we're pretty much using this guy as a way to get to Baron Praxis. After this though, for the next little while, nothing exciting happens except fighting through a few missions and meeting up with Vin, Onin, and Pecker. Yeah, Pecker. These are all important characters. Also, trust me, I will talk about the missions later because boy, do I have much to say about them. But after a few of these missions, we find our way into Baron Praxis's tower and learn that he is giving the Metalhead leader, aka the main bad guy of the game, Dark Eco, to keep them away from the city for now. But he also has more plans for the Metalhead leader up his sleeves. Sadly, Daxter screws up once again and sneezes, causing the Baron to notice us and have our first battle with him. After defeating him, we do a few more missions and find out the shocking reveal that we have been transported to the future after seeing Samos' hut, all old and overgrown and stuff. And then right after that, we meet the head of the underground crew that we're working for, and it ends up being Samos himself. Even though he doesn't remember anything, and he's a lot younger than we remember, but other than that, we're kind of left with nothing, besides that the little Jak dude is the heir to a throne and must open this tomb, even though he's like 5 and he could totally not get through any of these trials. So instead, Jak hops on in, and like the awesome guys we are, we finish all of the trials, and totally don't die like 20,000 times. Sadly, Praxis is there to steal the Precursor Stone, and after we kick his butt, he still gets away with it. And then we also learn that our friends are in jail now. Great. So now, along with the stone being gone, the world in danger, and being lost in the future, we have to deal with our stupid friends. But after we do rescue them, we also find our old friend, Old Samos. Yeah, the Samos from the first game. And this is where the future stuff starts to get complicated. So the old Samos from the past wants us to go get a growing seed for the young Samos from the future, so we can give him the powers that the old Samos from the past has, even though he didn't know about young Samos until now. Whatever, it'll probably make sense later. We then eventually turn Samos into super smart old Samos, and he tells us the world is going to blow up if they crack the Precursor Stone open. And then we do a few races to get in the palace, we meet the Baron's daughter and convince her that her dad is cuckoo, and she decides to help you get your way to Krew, and his crazy bomb to blow up the Precursor Stone. But being the awesome peeps we are, we get there and we stop him. But trust me, stuff hasn't even gotten crazy yet. But it's about to. So we get to a distress call and find Praxis, but before we can get our revenge on him, Krew comes out and reveals that all along, he was the metalhead leader, Metalcore, and then he kills Praxis. Come on! You have this big build-up with Praxis, and we don't even get to kill him. Whatever. Metalcore then leaves, Praxis reveals he had a second bomb, and we end up disarming it and stealing the stone back. We then use the stone to enter the Metalhead nest and finally meet face to face with Metalcore. But not before he reveals that the little kid is Jak. P.S. I totally called that. And they sent him back in time to protect him from Metalcore. Metalcore plans on stopping this so he can rule the world, but he obviously doesn't understand how time travel works and fails at his plans, because if he stopped the little kid from going to the past, the future Jak wouldn't exist at all. So his plans were flawed to begin with. But Jak then uses the power of the stone to send young Jak back in time with young Samos to take care of him till he is needed in the future. Well, I guess everything makes more sense now, but man, his time travel plot's just so confusing and not fun. Overall though, I really enjoyed the characters and story a lot more than I did in the first Jak game. Sadly, everything else is a horrible downgrade, which I'm totally about to rant about for the next little while, so get ready for that. Now, the graphics are dark and dingy and gross, and I don't think they look good. The music's still mediocre, and sweet jellyfish is the gameplay way too unforgiving. Yeah, Jak II suffers from what I like to call SPCS, also known as super bad checkpoint syndrome. If your game has a point where you can spend 10 to 20 minutes playing a mission, die, and then have to restart the whole mission, something is wrong, and it's not going to be fun. Jak I had a sense of adventure, going places, exploring things. Jak II feels like a series of fetch quests that are way too difficult to even be remotely fun. So, let's talk about a few hair-pulling missions I played. The first of these being, destroy eggs at drill platform. This mission isn't hard, but more of a pain since it's long and there are no checkpoints. So losing close to the end of the mission can set you back a good chunk. The next mission is Shuttle Underground Fighters. First off, if I wanted to be a taxi service, I would get a job, not play a video game. Second, there are 0 checkpoints for this mission. So if you lose or randomly touch a car and explode and the person you're trying to drive around dies, you have to keep playing this boring, horrible mission over and over and over again. The next mission is one most people hated, which is Check the Water Slums, where you go to the slums, find something you need, and are instantly surrounded and trapped. And for some reason, there are no cars around anymore. So you have to fight your way through the insane amount of enemies because you can't walk past the ships without being shot, and going in the water causes a sub to pop up and shoot you. So you're forced to fight hundreds of guys with no checkpoints. Yeah, good luck. My personal least favorite though was escorting the guys through the sewer. Since again, there are no checkpoints, it's an escort mission, and they throw a million guys at you at the very end of the mission, just to try and kill you so you have to escort them all over again. Oh, and don't forget the final mission with a million enemies and no checkpoints. I couldn't do it. I got lucky. I ran through the whole thing and then used my invincibility move with Dark Jak to get to the end. I just couldn't kill everything and get to the end. It's impossible. Ugh, really? This game just left a bad taste in my mouth, and I have no clue why it's such a fan favorite. The missions are boring and way too hard. Most of the game is just driving from point A to point B. Driving on top of that sucks, and the city isn't fun to explore, and it feels more like a maze than anything. And on top of all of that, it feels like a huge downgrade from the first game. To anyone who loves Jak II, I'm really sorry that I didn't enjoy it. I just could not have fun with the game, and I wanted it to be over the whole time I was playing it. It wasn't a fun experience, and it left this weird, sour, gross taste in my mouth that I just kind of want out now. So, I have to move on to Jak III, and hopefully, that game will leave a better taste in my mouth. But thank you for watching this episode of another retrospective, and don't forget to check in next week for Jak III. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. I just have to give a huge shout out to my Patreons, and if you guys wish to support me on my Patreon and help me continue to bring you great content, click on the card that's appearing now. But till then, let me give some huge shout outs to Rob LaLiberty, Andre Drulard, Thomas Bethel, Ian Selch, and the YouTubers Save Load, Possum Gamer, Cray Trey, Legend Gary, and After End Media.